Hey you guys, it's Lesley, the founder of the Collective Compass, and you are watching the Biohacked Myth series on the Collective Compass movement.
I want to welcome everyone to the Collective Compass movement.
I've got another biohack myth for you guys. Today's biohack myth that we are about to unpack and figure out the truth around is you can use fear for fuel. So can you use fear for fuel, or are you just going to get burnt out? So my answer for this biohack myth is a yes, but. So yes, you can use fear as fuel. You can use fear to create change, right? You can create change with fear fuel, but you cannot create consistency. So how does fear create change? I mean, I'm pretty sure if most of you guys know how fear can be used to create change. The pain of not solving whatever pain point it is that you're dealing with can be enough to push you to the point to where you're tired of avoiding it, right? So you get to the point to where you're like, this is taking too much out of me. This is too painful. This is too stressful, whatever. I've got to make a change. So energy to take action can come from lots of sources, right? Anger is energy. Resentment is energy. Fear of failure is energy. Scarcity mode, you fearing that there's not enough, is going to create some energy, but it's going to not be the type of energy that you're going to want to use for consistency, because this type of energy is dysregulating to your nervous system. The amount of energy that you need to create change in your life is the amount of energy that it takes for you to shift your potential energy into kinetic energy is going to create some type of action. So kinetic energy is just taking action. That's energy in motion, right? That's the amount of energy that it takes for you to get up and do what it is you're doing. The only thing is there's two kinds of kinetic energy. Unsupportive kinetic energy is fear fuel. And fear fuel will dysregulate your energy space. Using fear and insecurities and scarcity and pain is dysregulating to your energy. So it's more likely when you're using this kind of fear that you're going to tap into toxic or unsupportive habits, either on autopilot or from self-sabotage. So it's just not a very supportive type of energy, because it creates a domino effect of a bunch of unsupportive reactions. Every action has a reaction. So if you're creating a bunch of unsupportive reactions, then it kind of creates this downward negative energy frequency loop. So this is the opposite of what you want to be doing if you're trying to regulate and elevate your energy. So supportive, positive kinetic energy. When you tap into a supportive kinetic energy as your fuel source, you're going to create then a bunch of reactions that are supportive. So it works both ways. You're either causing a domino effect of unsupportive reactions to occur either for your mental space or your physical body. Your energy is so important. It is at the core of your whole entire human experience, because when that's dysregulated, it's going to throw off your nervous system. Once you throw off your nervous system, it has a domino effect of dysregulating all the 4 layers of the mind-body connection. So within your mind-body connection, you have layer number 1, which is your nervous system. You have layer number 2, which is your digestive system. You have layer number 3, which is your endocrine system, your lymphatic system, and your immune system. So these 3 core layers of your mind-body connection have to be regulated from your energy in your nervous system. Your nervous system is at the root of supporting all the systems in the body, and especially those 3 first layers. The core of your mind-body connection starts with your nervous system. So it has a domino effect either way. If you're using supportive energy as your fuel, then you're going to have a supportive chain of reactions going from your nervous system out into the rest of your systems of your body. If you are fueling your nervous system and your nervous system is continuously reacting to unsupportive kinetic energy, unsupportive fuel, like a fear fuel, then you're going to have a domino effect of unsupportive reactions follow that. So to get to the root of regulating and elevating your energy, you need to be able to know when you're tapping into fear fuel. And so I'm going to tell you guys real quick how I figured out that I was doing this. Oh my gosh, look. I had this aha moment one day where I realized that I always get really sharp under an intense amount of pressure. So like any job I've ever had, the crazier it got, for some reason, the more focused I got. For some reason, the more in the zone, the more tapped in. I started realizing how all these other situations that, in life that have really pushed me to see myself as somebody that's high functioning or somebody that can handle myself under pressure, it's actually because I thrive in chaos. So I realized that was at the root of trying to create energy for myself. I realized without understanding how I was attracting chaotic energy so that I would have fuel, it was really like this domino effect of, again, unsupportive actions, unsupportive reactions that I started to see. One day when I was sitting thinking about how much I was relieved that a chaotic situation had been solved, it was me sitting down one day thinking that I thrive under chaos. How am I going to create this same amount of energy that I get? How can I recreate the feeling of getting in the zone, being that mentally sharp, being really tapped in, being really focused? How can I find a supportive source of energy that could create that same type of energetic feeling, right? Because honestly, it really took me until a couple years ago to realize how much I was still kind of waiting for chaos to motivate me, to fuel me forward. I realized that I had been utilizing chaos for a really long time just because of being in a cycle of procrastination. And that is definitely a form of self-sabotage. That is definitely a fear indicator. So I realized that looking back over the years, even in school, back in the day, and especially school, but I realized that I had established a pattern of creating energy for myself through avoiding something I didn't want to do because I thought it would be painful, or I thought whatever. And then so let's say a school assignment. This is definitely where it started. So for example, I would receive a school assignment and I would fear the pain of having to endure the assignment, and then I would procrastinate. And then I would procrastinate to the point to where I would have this burst of energy to get it done because I would be so afraid that I wasn't going to make the deadline and that I wasn't going to actually get it done, that I would be able to, write a 10-page paper in like 2 days, or study for a huge exam in like a really short amount of time. I would cram a lot. This created a habit for me to where I was relying on fear fuel to give me this burst of energy every time I felt like I was in chaos. I would create a chaotic situation or attract a chaotic situation so that it would create the energy for me to fuel myself forward. It was really important for me to figure out where I was unconsciously creating chaos, and then I had to figure out what are all the behaviors associated with that, right? What are the patterns that I can shift so that I can recognize when I'm tapping into fear fuel, and how I can do things differently to not tap back into fear fuel. And then I figured out how I can recreate that same energy with positive, supportive, kinetic energy, something motivating, something empowering. One thing that really helped me be able to go ahead and switch over from using fear fuel, which is really great to help you get started sometimes. I mean, realistically, we all use fear. Some kind of fear can be really igniting for whatever energy we need to have. It can really pump you up to get shit done. And that is what it is. But if you are somebody that's starting to feel burnt out, I want you to keep listening to the rest of this video. I know a lot of you guys out there are feeling so burnt out right now. So I want to encourage you right now to consider where you might be attracting and tapping into fear fuel, which is your unsupportive kinetic energy, because it's so dysregulating to your nervous system. It's actually a lot of adrenaline. It's a lot of stress hormones. It's a lot of stress chemicals that you've got. And we all know where that goes. So it's really impossible to heal stress damage if you're tapping into fear fuel for your energy. So the Collective Compass teaches biohack style methods that will help you learn to regulate and elevate your energy. So the first place that you're going to want to start is checking in with yourself and see where you're using fear as your fuel. See what is motivating you right now. Take some time to journal. You can do some self-awareness journaling where you can just write down how you're feeling and write down what's been motivating you and some of the things that you will normally say inside your head. Are you comparing yourself to other people? Are you letting the material things that somebody else has be a motivator for you to create energy? And I mean, like I said, all these things may have their place. They may have a beneficial energy boost for a temporary little short span of time. But if you consistently keep tapping into fear fuel for your energy, you are eventually going to get burnout. You're going to accumulate so much stress that you're going to start seeing the impact of that stress creating damage and disease on your mind and body. So if this is something that you're doing for the long term, if you're a high functioning entrepreneur, if you're a course corrector, if you're a teacher, healer, truth teller, then you especially want to be careful about not using fear for your fuel, because you're doing so much. If you're a high functioning entrepreneur and you are running on fear fuel, you are going to be burnt out in a hurry because you're trying to do all the things and you're not even making the time for your self-care. And I'm pretty sure that you're probably not offsetting all this stress damage by the same amount of meditation, the same amount of relaxation, the same amount of self-care. If you're a high functioning entrepreneur, you're really struggling to do anything much for yourself right now. So it's really important that you make sure that the core of your mind-body connection is running off of supportive kinetic energy, which is empowerment, which is connecting to your why and remembering all the things that you're trying to create that fulfill you, and you're creating positive energy. So let me also throw this out there real quick. I know there's a little bit of confusion sometimes around the concept of creating positive energy, but one thing that we teach you at the Collective Compass through the TCC methods is how to create a positive energy frequency loop. A positive energy frequency loop is consistent positive energy. It's the micro habits and the things that you do every day to make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can to support your mind, body, and energy in its elevation. So if you think about the concept of positive energy as you do a positive bank account, then it's going to make a lot more sense than if you try to think about it more from an emotional type of concept, like whether positive means happy or negative means sad. So this is a concept of energy related to emotions. And so a little bit more supportive way to think about the concept of energy is to think about it as your bank account balance. So if you think about it like your bank account balance, then it makes a little bit more sense because you're putting into your bank account balance so that you have a positive amount of money. So if you think about the money like your energy, because honestly, energy and time equals money. When you think about your positive energy as a bank account, you're depositing into that bank account so that it does not go negative, okay? So it's your positive energy balance that creates abundance, and you being able to consistently create a positive energy chain of reactions will create a positive energy frequency loop that elevates your energy. So that may have been a lot to process, and I want to thank you for connecting with the Collective Compass movement. You are in the inner circle right now, so I want you just to absorb the language that we use and the methods that we teach, because it is really, really effective to regulating and elevating your energy so that you can build your holistic health foundation underneath your life vision. So many people share so many of their own personal stories of doing so many incredible things and then ending up creating a health crisis for themselves in the process unknowingly. And a large portion of that can be healed by being able to keep your nervous system supported at your mind-body connection core. If any of this content resonated with you, I really encourage you to get registered, get signed up for the Build Your Biohack Map free webinar. Feel free to share any of your experiences in the comments. This is so valuable for everyone to hear everybody's experiences around using fear fuel, staying motivated, whether you've worked on self-awareness or perspective or holistic health. We definitely want to hear from you. So get in the comments and share with us your experience with fear fuel. If you're using fear for your If you're using fear fuel right now, like this video, save this video, and subscribe to the Collective Compass movement, because you're going to want to absorb all of this content so you can learn how to regulate and elevate your energy and heal the impact of stress damage on your mind-body connection. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to this biohack myth. And I want to send love to everybody out there self-elevating. If you're somebody that is trying to create a decade's worth of change in this year, stay tuned for the next biohacked myth dropping weekly on the Collective Compass movement.